Right now, world leaders are working to implement the historic Paris Agreement to reduce and eliminate the use of greenhouse gases. Mark Phillips has more on what the agreement means for the future.
It took a day longer than planned, and the intent of the deal still has to be turned into action. But when French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius brought down his gavel, it confirmed there was a long, elusive deal to limit how much the Earth will be allowed to heat up. Delegates had been up the past 2 nights pulling the deal together, and it had taken some arm twisting, not least by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
It's a victory for all of the planet and for future generations.
It will take decades for the effect of this deal to take effect, and many more extreme climate events, like the floods that hit areas of England this past week, are still likely. But the provisions of the deal are ambitious. It calls for the global average temperature rise to be held at less than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, forever. That's 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and even says the rise should ideally be even lower than that. The deal, once ratified, would be legally binding, and it would establish a $100 billion fund under which rich countries would help poorer ones cope with the consequences of climate change, like these floods. This is supposed to be the road. The lake is supposed to end over there. They built special flood defenses here the last time this happened. Good, they said, for the 100-year event. But clearly they haven't coped. And that last flood was just 6 years ago. But the significance of this deal is that both rich and poor countries have agreed on what has to be done, even if there's no clear agreement on exactly how to do it. The New Deal will not of itself end global warming. The pledges most countries have made to cut their carbon emissions will not keep that warming to the limits with which the world can cope. But this deal is being seen as a turning point, with the whole world now agreed on what must be done, and that's something. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.